My, is it wrong to have a little bit of fun? I love that. I saw that this morning. Donald Trump Jr. actually was one of the ones, many people who are posting that this morning. I thought it was kind of fun. Thought I would share with you guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Hey, Robert Imbriali here. Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate you. I am traveling solo today. Lewis is doing exactly what he and I tend to preach, which is when you're in this so much, and that it's really important sometimes to take a little pause, take a little breather. So he's got a lot on his plate. He's taking a breather today, taking a deep breath. And I said, don't worry about it. I'll take care of the show. I tried to get Bruce on as a co-host today, but Bruce is up to his ears in getting Esther ready for the Unity tour and all that kind of stuff that's going on there. So he's been very busy as well. And I invited a couple of other people. We'll see. I've got the backstage open here. Let's see if somebody shows up. If not, it's just you and I today, and that's okay. Hey, before we get into it, I just want to remind everybody, and we're seeing a lot of spam in Telegram and Facebook and Twitter and all that kind of thing. We do not go out and solicit directly. So if you're getting a direct message that appears to be from Renegade Media or ScrewBigGov, not happening. We don't do that, right? Especially if you're on Telegram, you're seeing a lot of that kind of thing. There's a lot of posts in the Renegade Media Telegram group as well that I see that say, hey, join our private chat room. There's no private chat room. It's a public chat room. And if you're already in it when you post a comment on any of the posts that we put there in Renegade Media. So we see those, we get rid of them. I noticed on the weekend I didn't catch a few because there were so many posts going up that there are a few that slipped through the cracks. But just be aware of that kind of thing. There's a lot of that going on. A lot of AI. They will fake the account. So it'll say Renegade Media _1 or whatever. And they'll make it look like, they'll grab the logo and everything. It'll look like it's us. But do a little due diligence, dig in. And if you're unsure, just send me an email, robert@renegademedia.tv. And you can reach Lewis the same way. You can send it to me and I'll send it to him and make sure, he gets it or his team gets it. So we know, what's real and what's not. All of our stuff, by the way, all the links going forward are going to be on screwbiggov.com. That's where we're going to put everything. So it'll kind of be the one central hub rather than sending you to all different domains. It'll just be on a single domain. It'll be a lot easier to keep on track. All right. July 24th. Did you hear there's supposed to be a lot happening this week? There are a lot of people kind of pointing to today and tomorrow being a lot happening. But I got to tell you something. If you go back to the beginning of July and you say, well, it's a lazy summer, the list of stuff that's already occurred, the list of stuff that's already happened, you should be shaking your head. You really should be at this point going, I don't know how to keep up on it. So it was kind of an avalanche this morning. I went in, I put the show together, no problem. And, well, big problem because the big stories that are out there, there's more and more happening. Now, we just got word a little while ago that there's a huge, event happening in Houston where they're rounding up a lot of people, a lot of arrests being made. I think it's the FBI behind it. We don't know. They're not saying. They're just saying it was a court-sanctioned operation. So we don't know. But we'll find out. We're going to keep digging and we'll find out what is exactly going on there. We've all been waiting for this time, right? For things to start popping and things to start bubbling. Hard to say we're not there. I think we are. I think really we are in that position right now where we're just seeing a lot of this stuff coming up. And it's hard to keep on track of it. And don't feel bad if you can't, because there's way too much. And I think, if you go forward, let's go 3 months forward, will it all matter if you knew everything that was going on? At the end of it, probably not. Just kind of get the broad brush strokes, look at what's going on. Generally speaking, don't get caught up too much in the details. Not always easy to do, I know, because of things like a soap opera. I mean, it's honestly like a freaking soap opera, literally. And it's very addicting, right? You get on there, it's like, I gotta know. At the end of it, like I said, it's really not going to matter. What's going to matter is that we end up on top, which I believe we will. I'm firmly believing that we're going to get there. I think the activities that we're seeing is the other side cornered and in fear, literally. And they're pulling out all stops now. And this is where it gets a little bit dangerous. This is the rat that's cornered, right? A rat's probably not that dangerous, except if They're cornered and they feel like their life's threatened, right? And all of a sudden they become very, very nasty. Any animal would, and certainly we're looking at the other side and the globalists and those people. I'm not going to use Republican, Democrat so much anymore because it really doesn't matter, right? It's two halves of the same bird. Whatever it is, a two-party system. It's really a one-party system. It's a uniparty. It's really them against us, where the government was never meant to be that in this country. It was meant to be a representation of our desires by popular opinion. I don't see that happening. I don't see it happening. So we're going to get into a lot of different stories today. We're going to go in some kind of order that kind of makes sense of it all. I hope you can follow along. It's like literally follow the bouncing ball. Boom, boom, boom. Right? It's that kind of thing. It's not easy. So we'll go to the Trump assassination attempt. I think that one is the one that continues to flummox and confuse. And I believe at this point, a lot of this is intentional. We're seeing stories that come up, oh, there was this. And then somebody else comes along and says, no, there really wasn't. And then somebody else says, yes, there was. And somebody else, well, no, it really wasn't that. It was something else. And you kind of going down this path and there are no straight lines. I know we really like to have straight lines. We really like to go start here, end here. But that's not life, is it? Life is more, kind of like that. And that's really what we're involved in right now. So we heard the audio from people with cell phones, right? They were filming. Of course, when you're at a Trump rally, how many people are filming? Yeah, I would say 80% of the crowd got a cell phone in their hand and videotaping. There's a lot more video that's coming up. We had a guest, Lisa, had figured that we'd get somebody she knew that was actually at the rally in PA, and she was supposed to come on with us last week, but she didn't feel comfortable at the last minute and declined. I think we're going to see a lot of those people coming around and saying, you know what? This is really important. I've got footage on my phone. I need to share it. And we're starting to see that every day, more and more on X especially. People are posting videos. So now we're getting this angle and that angle because people were all over the place, right? They were behind, they were to the left, to the right, they were right in front. And we're seeing different things that we didn't see before. So one of the things I want to keep in mind with the audio forensics from cell phone video. I'm going to get a little technical here, but for the technical people in this group, raise your hand. I know who you are, right? Some of the technical people in this group will understand this. When you take a video or a photo with today's modern phones, it's not raw. It is processed by a computer. Apple calls it a neural engine, right? And if you watch some of the Apple presentations, you'll see the original photo starts here and it goes through so many adjustments before it saves it to the disk. So is it the same video that you just shot? No, it's not. It's actually altered. It's altered in the camera in near real time. It's so fast. That's why you say, why does my cell phone have a stronger processor than my desktop computer or my laptop? And they do. That's why. Neural engines processing all this data. You take a photo, it's going to adjust the lighting, it'll knock the background, and anything that you want to do, it's able to do. So it's no longer straight photography where I'm taking a camera and I click and I got it on film and that film is a representation of what it saw. It's not that anymore. Obviously that process of helping them change genders is not helping. It's making things worse, I think, in many ways. So we're seeing it again and again. Now, I know there are some people out there who say, Rob, what are you talking about, man? This thing's all show. It was all staged, right? I went there and I really thought, okay, maybe it was. Let me go do some digging. And, from what I'm seeing, and I could be wrong. I'm always open to being incorrect on this. But what I'm seeing, it looks more like it was an inside job, especially now that we're starting to see the connections between this guy Crooks and the FBI. And this is not the first time they've made connections with him to DC. Apparently, it's been an ongoing thing probably since 2020. So there's more to this story yet to be told. And of course, the hearings on Capitol Hill this week, what did you learn? Nothing. They all stonewalled, as we expected they would. We didn't really get anything. We got some fiery shots, right? But at the end of the day, what did we get? Okay, the Secret Service, the head of the Secret Service, Cheadle, she resigned. Well, of course, anybody would after being battled that hard on Congress, right? So she resigns. So what? She walks away scot-free. She gets her pension. She gets her golden parachute, if you will. Yeah, not really the outcome we wanted, but okay, we'll take it. So, if this was a show, I think we'd see other things, not what we're seeing right now. So I'm still on the side of this was an inside job, and I think a lot of people have come to that conclusion. It was kind of my feeling right after it happened, and it really hasn't changed much. And I'm looking for information that will change my mind, tell me I'm wrong, tell me I'm missing something. And I hear all the esoteric stuff too, and since I can't prove that one way or another, I'm tempted to kind of leave it alone for now until I get to a point where I could feel more confident that stuff may be happening. A lot of people talk about that. I don't think they're wrong. I honestly don't have an opinion there. So I'm just going with what we're being told, what the narrative is, what the citizen journalists are sharing, right? Sort of on that level. And I'm coming up with, the story that makes sense to me to finish the job. And they missed too. So, it's kind of interesting if you look at it from that perspective. It's like they had a cleanup crew in case the first guy missed. And it seemed like that's the most plausible explanation at this point. Like I said, subject to change. I don't know. So we found out too over the weekend that was this on here? Yeah. Before I go there though, let me just jump over here. Let me tell you about screwbiggov.com real quick. If you haven't been there, this is where all our links are going to be. Screwbiggov.com. You'll be able to keep up with Lewis and find out what he's doing. Of course, there's going to be a lot more information on the Unity Tour coming up September 3rd. That begins. It will probably be in your neighborhood or close to your neighborhood, close enough that you can drive. Wouldn't it be great to meet Lewis in person? Come on. I know you guys love to. This is your opportunity. I don't know that he'll do more tours in the future. We may be at a place a year from now where they're no longer going to be needed. Who knows? But this would be opportunity. If you have that opportunity, he's going to come to your neighborhood. You show up and help out and bring a friend, bring two friends, right? It's free. We're not charging anything for it. So we'll talk more about that in the days ahead. And if you want to follow me, you can follow me at Renegade Media on Telegram, or you can go to renegademedia.tv, get signed up, get on our email list. Also the ScrewBigGov email list, important to do. You can email me, Robert at renegademedia.tv as well. Like to get your emails, like to know what you guys are thinking. And thank you for all of you who share stories, because it helps, right? Sometimes I don't see everything. I've got the places, the sources I go to, and you guys go to the sources you go to. And it's really nice to have a nice menu of stories to choose from. A little bit like going to a Cheesecake Factory, right? You got that menu and it's just page after page after page. You go, how can I choose? I like that. I prefer to be in that place than, gee, I don't have anything to talk about today. All right. This is what they call a jaw dropper. I thought that was kind of an interesting way to put it. It's a jaw dropper. And you will understand when I say this, 4 times as many local continues to unfold. What are we seeing more and more? Inside job? I think so. It just kind of lends itself there. I'm not trying to convince you, by the way. If you have a different opinion, stick with that opinion and find things that support that opinion, because we need as many people in this battle as possible. And you never want to all be on the same page and seeing it exactly the same way. That makes us weak. What makes us strong is we actually have different opinions or different views on things. So this continues. This is from Gateway Pundit. GOP Rep William Timmons of South Carolina pressed Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheadle on Monday on reports that the Pittsburgh Secret Service field office sent 4 times the number of additional agents to cover First Lady Jill Biden event than to former President Donald Trump's July 13th rally in Butler, Pennsylvania. They're confirmed nor denied that was the case. Of course, she did that all day, right? If you watch any of those hearings, and there were a lot of people like Viva Fry, for instance, I think he streamed the whole thing, and he was commenting as it was going on. It's just denial. I told Lewis, if you're going to ask me any questions, I'm going to say, Lewis, that's classified, and I have no comment, and you'll have to refer to the FBI. It's really, they're going to answer my questions for that, because that's basically what she did all day long. Anyway, so Timmons asked, who made the decision to deploy 12 post-standers to the casino where the First Lady was having a 400-person dinner, and only 3 people from the Pittsburgh field office to a 20,000-plus Trump rally? Wait a minute. 12 went to a 400-person, and you had 3 going to a 20,000-person rally, right? Cheadle only said the allocation of resources is decided based on the availability of personnel in their location and where they are. Their location would be where they are. But there were sufficient resources that were given to the former president's event that day? Three? One veteran Secret Service agent? I don't think so. Timmons appeared very surprised by her response. You think so? He said, did you just say there were sufficient resources? Right? So many people right up front said, no, I'm not doing this. No way am I doing this. It's not safe. But the commercials, right? The celebrities endorsing, it was just non-stop. Every page in the newspaper you turned, every page in a magazine, right? Radio stations, television stations, it was all over social media. Eventually, it broke down a lot of people. A lot of people didn't do it because they wanted to. They did it because they were coerced or threatened into it. So, that's just the way it is. So I'm going to encourage you to remain strong as much as you can. And, it's important. We look at the other media too. We want to know where they're thinking and what they're saying. It's important to know that. But realize, you've got to find your own center. Whether you believe what I say or believe what Lewis says, it's really irrelevant. You got to believe what you got to believe. So you've got so much out there. And it's really important to look at all this stuff and say, hey, here are the pieces that are important to me. Here are the pieces I believe. Here are the pieces that make sense to me. I'm putting my puzzle together this way. This piece you say doesn't belong, but I think it belongs right here. Okay, you're entitled to that. And it should not cause division. Now, some of us have been recognizing that there's a lot of fighting between people who are longtime friends right now because of this, right? And I had a friend reach out to me the other day and said, I can't believe the fighting. Friends have been friends with this guy for 25 years. And all of a sudden we're fighting over this assassination attempt stuff. And what happened? And was it a show? Was it real? Was it not? And I said, I answered, he said, what would you do? And I answered him quite directly. And I said, I choose not to participate. And you got to do that too. Choose not to participate. It does not matter if you're right to somebody else, right? Just be right for yourself. Find that thing that matters to you, that makes sense to you, and that's your belief system. Stand by it if you want. Or, be like me and be open to change. If new information comes up, it's not going to become a conviction for me. It's not going to become an unquestioned belief. It's a belief. I believe this is what happened. But if there's more information that pops up or rolls around, all right, I'm open, right? And we've got to be that way right now because the information's coming out. A lot of it is disinformation. A lot of it is fake. Some of it is bots. Some of it is AI. Some of it is deliberately misleading because they want to keep us confused. Why? Because a confused society, are they easier to control or harder? Oh my gosh, they're easier, right? You don't know which way is up anymore, right? If I put you in a barrel and spin you around and then say, hey, go run a straight line, you're going to be like, you're going to be all over the place. You won't be able to do it. Easy to knock you down at that point. And I think that's what's going on psychologically, is that we're being so confused right now. So deep breath, take a step back, take it as you can. If you can take a little bit of it, take a little bit of it. If not, take a little break, breathe. And it's okay to step away from it for a little while because it is very confusing. All right. Do I have a slide for this? I don't have a slide for this. Anyway, I will just talk about it then. All right. Black Lives Matter. BLM, remember them in 2020, how every major sports league embraced them and everyone's like, oh, if you're not a BLM supporter. And they proved themselves to be what? Yeah, just another one of those organizations that doesn't love America, really. I think that's really the way to put it. So the left-wing Black Lives Matter actually is kind of doing something that I think all of us might agree with. The Black Lives Matter organization on Tuesday evening lashed out at the Democratic Party, claiming they were a party of hypocrites for installing Vice President Kamala Harris as the president's successor in the party without a vote. How would you feel if your party just did that to you? Hey, you know what? We decided we don't like Donald Trump. I know everyone voted for him. We're going to put another nominee in instead. You'd be pretty pissed off, wouldn't you? So they're expressing that anger now, and they're saying, hey, we're pissed off because we didn't get a chance to vote for Kamala. And we'll talk about our approval rating here in a minute. Yeah, scary. So their quote is, we do not live in a dictatorship. Delegates are not oligarchs. Installing Kamala Harris as the Democratic nominee and an unknown vice president without any public voting process would make the modern Democrat Party a party of hypocrites. This is the group's BLM saying this in a statement. Black Lives Matter demands that the DNC immediately host an informal virtual snap primary across the country prior to the DNC convention in August. So you know what the DNC's response is? Yep, They're going to try and confirm Kamala Harris before the convention. They're trying to bestow on her the presumptive nominee title. And they want to go one step further and not make it presumptive, make it official. So that may happen before the convention in August. Oh, these guys are playing by the rules, aren't they? Did you feel like they're really playing by the rules? Oh my gosh, they are so on it. They're doing exactly what the law requires them to do, right? Well, they're changing the rules as we go. As the primaries are over, before the convention, the DNC is changing the rules so that they can do this. Wow. Well, there's a big pile of cash that's sitting there, and I think that's really what's driving all of this, and I think that's why the only reason that they're getting behind her. Now everyone's switching, right? They're like, oh, we hate her. No. Now the other side, the other media is like, oh no, she's really good. And they're trying to wipe her, her record off the face of the earth. What record? She didn't do anything. Yeah. Crazy. That's what's going on. Anyway, so the first one they're trying to get rid of is her title of the border czar. So you and I know in 2021, Biden appointed her and said, you are the border czar. You are the one who will be in charge of the southern border. She never went to the southern border, not once. Dereliction of duty. If you were in a corporation and you were charged with something like that and you accepted that role and you did nothing, how long do you think you'd last? Would you be put in the role of DNC nominee for president of the United States? Probably not. In the real world, you'd be on unemployment. Clearly, we're not in the real world. Watch this.
This is the kind of thing that is playing out all over conservative media. I just want to do a little bit of record correcting. There's not record crime right now. Number one, Harris was put in charge, as you said earlier, of combating the roots of immigration. She was...
Understand the point that you're making.
I've been to Europe and I've been to the border. Done both. So, yeah. What does it matter? What does it really matter? It's kind of your job, right? That's the job they gave you. Your job was to fix the problem. You did nothing, right? So I'm seeing it in chat. I see people in chat going, oh, this is crazy. This is crazy. It is, isn't it? That they're standing up yet another puppet. Another puppet. Because again, this is not a person who's going to make any real decisions. This is a person who'll sign anything. Put it in front of them. They'll sign it. They won't read it. And they'll just sign it. And that's exactly what they need. They just need to be able to control that lever of power. And I think that's why we're going in this direction. Donald Trump Jr. today posted this chart. I thought that was kind of interesting. He says, I'd like to personally congratulate Kamala Harris on breaking barriers and becoming one of the most unpopular vice presidents in American history. Her disapproval rate today is at 51.4%. Her approval rate only 37.8%. And that will rise as more and more of the celebrities start, trying to say that she's good. And more people will not look into it. More people will forget about what happened in the past because we're so busy with our Apple iTunes and our Netflix and stuff. We don't really pay attention to any of this stuff, right? That's the society today. And they can get away with changing narratives on you because we don't remember. We don't remember what happened last week. There's so much going on. Very few people can keep up with it. And that's the reality. And I think that is done intentionally. I think that is one of the things that we really have to pay attention to. And our job, you say, what's my job? Our job is to continue to inform. So this show is like a rock dropping into the pond. We give you the information, right? You take it, and then you have conversations with your friends, your neighbors, whoever you run into at the store or on the street or whatnot, and you can speak from an informed position. Hey, this is what we know is going on. These are the challenges. These are the things we're seeing. Because the worst thing you want to do is be like them and not have a depth of understanding of what's going on and not be able to answer any questions. I mean, it's so interesting when people on the other side, you start asking them questions, 2 or 3 questions in, you get the deer in the headlights because they haven't thought it through. What did they do? Exactly what they were taught in school. What were they taught in school? How did we go through school, right? It was what? Teacher says a lesson. Our job is to memorize the lesson. Why? Because there'll be a test. You better remember this. There'll be a quiz, right? Memorize and repeat. That's what they're doing today. Crappy news goes in, and that's what they talk about. Part that's missing is this is a computer. It's meant to analyze, right? We have never been taught to analyze. Well, I'm analytical by nature, but not everybody is. And it's a really good opportunity now to start using that part of the brain a little bit more. And they need to on the other side too, because they're being lied to. And they're being made to do things and believe things that just are not true. But they don't know it. They're hearing it and they're repeating it, and everyone around them's repeating it. So enough of them say the same thing. They think, well, it must be the truth. Everyone's saying it. If everyone jumps off the bridge, I guess that's a good thing to do. I'm jumping too. I don't think so. I'm going to think twice, right? Probably not going to do it. I'm going to play a little bit of this. Is a longer video. On and on. It's probably 5 minutes long. Same line. She got a little catchphrase there, and she keeps repeating the catchphrase. She's really good at word salad. I mean, it could be entertaining to watch her during this campaign. Some more of this word salad. We can have a lot of fun with those. We can make great memes, can't we? Because our side, we got the best memes. Let's just face it. Our side does the best memes. So I think, we're going to have a lot of fun in the next couple of months. But I have a feeling, my gut feeling tells me she's not the one. They're doing everything they can right now to make it seem as she's the one. I don't think that's going to go through. I think something is going to happen, right? People are saying that there'll be a lot between now and election day. I think we're in that where we get close to, I think we're very close to that 90-day window now. You get into that 90-day window, that's the maximum pressure, right? It's the time when things are going to go off the rails, things are going to change for us. And I think we got to pay attention to that, really eyes open, heads up, eyes open. That's really what we need to do, is to focus on everything that's going on, keep an eye on things, and, be ready for a shift in the narrative, because the narratives are going to shift dramatically over the, I told Lewis, I said, no matter how much we think we know, we're all going to be surprised by what comes out, because we can see what's on the surface. We have no idea what's going on beneath the surface. We don't know what operations are going on. We don't know where the good guys are, the bad guys are. We just see it when it surfaces, where we can see it above the water. We can see it, but there's a whole ocean of stuff going on beneath, right? We get hints here and there, but never enough really to say, oh, I know exactly what's going on. It's more like, well, that's interesting. I wonder if that's true. Right? It's the way we approach it. That's interesting. I wonder if it's true. I don't see it anywhere else. Doesn't mean it's not true. May mean only one person found that. And that may be it. Who knows? So this is where we're in, the place that we're in right now. Crazy times for sure. So this is a post by Donald Trump today on Truth Social. And he says, California, Kamala Harris becomes the first Indian American U.S. Senator. That was in 2016. And then in 2020, Biden picks Kamala Harris as running mate, first black woman. Trying to sell the black thing, right? Trying to play that race card. It's not working. People are wise to it. I think that enough of us have surfaced this kind of information that most people are aware, and certainly in the black community, they're aware. A lot of them are saying no more Democrats, no matter who. We're done. And they see the damage that's been done to their community, and they're waking up. Guys, if you don't recognize this as being a good thing, right? It is, and it's a result of all the work that we've been doing. It really is a result of all of us. I'm not just saying me, Lewis, all of us together doing it. And we keep letting people know, this is what's happening. This is what's happening. And I think in these, black and Hispanic communities, I think they're just looking at their bank accounts and going, how am I supposed to live? It was hard enough before. And now gas is hovering around $5 here, 5 and change. Food is up, 40, 50%, sometimes 3 times as much as it was back in 2020. And you wonder, it's like, well, their salaries haven't gone up the same way. How are they surviving? It's one way to motivate a population, right, is financially. And Lewis and I have been saying that. It's like, for those who are on the sideline and not in the battle with us, how are we going to get them in the battle? They will jump in voluntarily the moment it hits them. The moment it lands in their lap, something lands in their lap, they're in. Right now, it's somebody else's problem, for the most part. Well, it's out there. You know what? I can go to work. I can still afford gas. I can buy food. I'm going to go through my day. I don't want to deal with any of that. That all changes the moment it hits them. And that's what's happened in the Black and Hispanic communities is they're much poorer. Generally speaking, of course, not everybody. They're much poorer today than they were because the price of everything's gone up. So when you were saying in 2020, I'm just making ends meet, your salary didn't go up to meet inflation. It was way below that. Or are you still making ends meet? By the way, over $1 trillion, I think it's 1.1 trillion now, in credit card debt. What does that tell you? People don't have money. What are they doing? They're putting it on their credit cards. That bill's going to come in. Someone's got to pay that bill. And you know the exorbitant interest rates on credit cards. It's going to be a long uphill to pay a lot of that stuff. So, yeah, crazy. So our illustrious Congress, guess what they did? Oh, you're going to love this. All right. Don't pull your hair out, please. Don't pull your hair out. You look good with the hair. Don't pull it out. Next week's House session is canceled. Members of Congress start their August recess. Remember last year I was complaining about this, that they were in August recess and they didn't come back until the second week in September? Guess where we are, folks? This means there won't be any more congressional votes until September. So much for getting accountability for the attempted assassination of President Trump, and so much for investigations into Biden's staffers who were subpoenaed over their cover-up of his declining health. Members of Congress never work. They have a good life. This is Laura Loomer sharing this. All right, so here we are in this summer recess again, where they're supposed to go back to their state and their constituents, and they're supposed to hold meetings and meet with them and figure out where they are. Okay, we get that. That's, part of the game, part of the job, I guess it is. But aren't we in kind of unique times right now? Don't you think that might be a good idea to keep them there for a little bit? But instead they let them go a week early? So it's not just August, it's the end of July, and they won't be back till, second week in September. It's a long time not to have the House in session. What's going to happen? We've got so much going on. I wonder if they can, Mike Johnson will call them back for an emergency. Oh, God, no, Mike Johnson. He's not going to do that. So this is what gives me pause, because I think there may be more here happening. And we may see a very, very different August than we plan. August, I don't know. I don't want to speculate. It's hard to, but something's coming. Something's coming. You have a gut feeling about it. And, one of the things that Lewis and I have been talking about, neither one of us are really sleeping at night. Well, other people I know aren't sleeping at night either. That's because I believe it's the collective energy that's all stirred up. And there has to be sort of a calmness for us to, get into a deep sleep and a restful place. So we're pushing it. I'm pushing it. He's pushing it. People I know are pushing it. Because right now it's the battle time, right? It's time to do that. Anyway, I want to talk to you real quick about my buddy. Where is he? He's around here somewhere. My buddy Thumper, or Trumper, as Denise would say. Thank you, Denise. I love that name. I actually do call him Trumper sometimes. It's interesting. You've planted the seed, my dear friend. I love it. We, 15-year-old cat, and he was on the end. We really thought, it was done about 1.5 years ago now, and we thought it was over for him. And Lewis suggested, hey, why don't you try him on the Pets 24/7 food? We've heard some miraculous stories. They have literally binders full of stories from people who have given their pets this food, and the miraculous recovery rates has been amazing. So sure enough, started to give it to him, and he didn't really go for it right away. Cats are finicky and takes them a while to warm up to something new. So I mixed it with his regular food, and did all that, and kind of tricked him into it. Now he loves it. Now it's like, oh, that's his favorite flavor. So I gave him the super sauce, and I noticed within about a week, Kristen from who's national sales rep for Pets 24/7, he said, "You ever heard of this?" She says, all the time we hear this. I'm like, wow, that's amazing. So this week I had 2 different friends ask me for links because they wanted to go get some. Their cat's having trouble or whatever. You don't have to wait till your pet's in trouble to give them good food. Start giving it to them now if you can. And people say, well, it's more expensive. It's actually, in some ways, it's actually cheaper than the pet food that you get in the store. And if you think of it this way, it's going to save you a lot of vet bills. Because if your pet's healthy, no need to bring him to the vet, right? So we don't bring the cat to the vet because he doesn't need it. He's in great shape. doing better almost every day. It's so interesting to see how much energy he has at 15. So have a look, screwbiggov.com/pets. Remember, all the links will now be on ScrewBigGov, screwbiggov.com/pets, and it'll take you right to Pet Club 24/7. They have a 30-day money-back guarantee, which you'll probably not use. So if for some reason you order the food and you don't like it, your cat doesn't like it, your dog doesn't like it, your horse doesn't like it, or you click on the human tab and you buy something that you don't like, you can get your money back within 30 days. No questions asked, no problem there. The truth is, I think it's 96% of the people who order keep reordering. Why? Because it works. And they can see the results pretty quickly. So Pet Club 24/7, screwbiggov.com/pets. And we thank them for supporting our show. And for you, if you're purchasing from them, you are also helping support our show to keep us be able to do this, because there's a lot of gear in this room that makes this show possible, and it ain't cheap sometimes. All right. So I said at the beginning, what's going on in Washington, D.C., my friends? What's happening there today? It seems like there's some pretty giant protests going on. Why? Netanyahu's in town. Oh, isn't that interesting? So where's Biden? Is he going to meet this head of state? Nope. Where's Harris, who wants to be the POTUS? Is she going to meet him? Nope. He's speaking to a joint session of Congress today, and then Friday, apparently, he's going to Mar-a-Lago to talk to Donald Trump. And of course, you have the pro-Palestinian protesters out in force. They were busted in this morning. We saw videos of the buses dropping them all off. These, my assumption is, it's highly organized, number one. Number two, they are likely paid protesters. They probably don't even know what they're protesting. Netanyahu had said that in the speech. I'm not going to play that clip, but he said it. He says, do you know what you're protesting to support? He said, do you know what Palestinians do with gay people? They hang them from cranes. On them. Yeah. Somebody posted on X, and I really believe that, our enemy is already here. This is what's in our capital today. They're tearing down the American flags, desecrating statues and monuments, and spray painting them. They put red dye in all the fountains to make it look like blood. It's a group, roughly 20,000. They're fighting with the police and the Secret Service. And get this, I don't understand this. Maybe you can help me understand this. They went to New York City and got 200 New York City cops and swore them in so they could help Capitol Police today and tomorrow. What's going on tomorrow? I don't know what's going on tomorrow, but they're here for these 2 days. New York. Police officers from New York sworn in to help Capitol Police in Washington, D.C. Okay, it's not a long drive. I can get there in about 4 hours. I've done that drive many times when I lived back east. Done it. Not a long drive. I got it. Question. Why did they not call the National Guard? Do you think what Derek Johnson has been saying might be playing in here? That the National Guard is no longer under the control of the states, but it's actually controlled nationally? That they are... we know National Guard has been activated outside of the country, which is, they're not even supposed to be outside of their state. So they're traveling in different states and they're traveling outside the country. I don't know. I don't really know what's going on, but I have questions about it. And I think you should as well. Why didn't they call the National Guard? Do they not have control anymore? I mean, a lot of people have been saying National Guard's under the control of the White Hats, right? We've been hearing that forever. Could that be? Could that be what's going on here? I don't know. But it's a question worth asking, right? Because it doesn't make any sense that you'd go to New York City and grab 200 cops from there, and they have the U.S. Park Police there, and they're pepper spraying, and they're using stun grenades, and the same thing that we saw during January 6th, the same game, and they're making arrests as they can, and I don't think that the arrests will amount to anything. It won't be a January 6th situation. I think, the other side is very well prepared. Remember, Kamala Harris was behind this back in 2020, right? She was helping fund the fund for the bail fund for those people who got arrested, that they would get bailed out. They'd get bailed out the next day. Maybe that's what's happening here. Maybe that's why these guys don't care if they get arrested, because they know they're going to be bailed out. Who knows? But it is planned. It is clearly well organized. And, you know, I'm going to keep asking that question about National Guard. If you guys have any insights there, boy, I would really, really love to hear what you have to say. I'm just looking at the chat room real quick. Yeah, I don't see anything yet, but maybe you guys will have an opinion on this, because again, you've got this puzzle, right? You've got this protest, and you've got New York police. You don't have National Guard. So you've got a puzzle with missing pieces. You can't make a full picture. You don't know what you're really looking at. That's kind of where we are right now. And I think it's okay, because we are in the middle of the war. And we know this is an information war, a psyop war. We know that a lot of the information will not come out, because either side doesn't want to, tilt their hand so you can see what they're up to. So like I said, we're just getting stuff as it bubbles to the top, and we're trying to make sense of it all. And there's a lot of pieces that just don't connect. Doesn't mean we're going to stop trying. Oh no, we're not going to stop trying. I think it's really, really important to do that. So today, Biden is going to address the nation. What is it? 4 o'clock here in 8 minutes, 8 minutes to 4 here in California. He's going to address the nation at 8 p.m. Eastern, which is 5 p.m. our time. So about an hour and 8 minutes from now. And, it's kind of interesting. Mitch Axelrod wrote to me and he says, so which Biden is it going to be tonight? And I go, that's a good question. 1, 2, 3, or 4. Are they just rolling it out? Is it AI? We've seen posts on X telling us that the AI is what's running this whole show. And they are creating videos to make it look like Joe Biden's actually there when he's not. They're just grabbing stock video and then adding him into the video. Voice, movement, video, facial. I know the AI can do it. So I don't know. I don't know what I'm looking at, because it's gotten really good and it's really hard to tell. And oftentimes when you look at these videos, they're not very clear, right? They're always blurry video. I'm like, come on, guys, we have 4K cameras. We got to get better video. And we don't. So will it be somebody in a mask? Will it be a body double? Somebody looks like him? We'll look for the ears to see if the ears are attached or detached, right? We're going to look for things like that. We'll pay attention to it. I don't think he's going to say anything that magical. But, something's coming up. I don't know. Something's going to happen here. And but I want to show you this video. How long way? Guys, I'm actually Lewis Herms. Hang on. Kidding. It's crazy how realistic these things look, right? And the only way I think people are saying you can tell somebody's got a mask is that the distance between the eyeball and the skin is a little bit deeper than it would normally be. That would make sense. That's probably a hard place to make the connection, because you have to use a person's real eyes, and maybe there's a little shadow under there. So, will the cameras be close enough? Will the lighting be that way where you'd actually see a shadow? Because you can arrange the lighting in a way where it's shadowless, right? I try to have shadowless lighting here. I've got a little bit of shadow, but I try to have as much shadowless lighting as possible. I look the best that way. And it's more important to look good than to feel good, right, guys? Right. No. Okay. Gotcha. So it'll be interesting. We're going to watch this this presentation tonight by the... We'll see what he has to say. It could be anything. It could be nothing. Could be something big. It could be something small. I've been so disappointed so many times in these. Build up. And it turns out to be nothing at all. So we'll see. It's worth keeping an eye on. I think that's important to do. So we'll do it, and we'll pay attention to what's going on. Here's something interesting. Interesting in terms of historic, maybe. Trump is now going to stop. Let me give a little bit more audio there. Trump is going to stop doing outdoor rallies. So the Secret Service told him that you need to stop doing outdoor rallies because you're going to get hurt. Being that the threat has not gone away, being that it was way too easy to pull off what they tried to pull off, I kind of get that. So, according to this story, which I think was Gateway Pundit as well, President Donald Trump will reportedly stop holding outdoor mega rallies after government officials weirdly allowed a young are to continue to hold indoor rallies, but they also said it's possible Trump will participate in smaller outdoor events or larger rallies in facilities like stadiums where entrances are more fully controlled and there are not issues with high ground nearby. So reaction to definitely the assassination attempt. And this is the response. The response is, we're not going to do this. We're not going to do the outdoor rallies. It's too dangerous. Especially, you heard that kid was flying a drone over the area 2 hours before Donald Trump took the stage. You heard that Secret Service was made aware 20 minutes before Trump took the stage that there was a threat. And they could have said, hey, hold on, we need to check this out. But they said nothing. And Donald Trump said, I don't know why they didn't tell me. They would have told me, I would have definitely held off for 20 minutes. It wouldn't have made a bit of difference. Would have been a smart thing to do. Nobody said anything. So he went on stage and you know what happened. Interesting times we live in. I tell you, it may be historic for those of you who did get to see an outdoor rally. Maybe it'll be just a memory and say, remember when? It was a long time ago. Hopefully we get to the other side. Neumi Wolf is kind of positing yesterday on her X account. She said that it'll be a decade or more before things really calm down. I'm hoping she's wrong, but it's possible that it will take a while for this anger to temper out, right? Because we've got so much Trump derangement syndrome out there. And especially if he gets back in, another 4 years of it, it's going to go up. It's not going to go down. It doesn't go down once he gets in. And I think Lewis had said this right. He said, if he wins the election November 5th to January 20th, it's going to be a very dangerous time, right? Because they really don't want him taking power. And you think, the Biden regime is going to hand it over easily. It's not. They're not going to hand it over easily. They're going to do a lot of damage in that window because they've got nothing more to lose. They're not trying to win an election anymore. So it could be a very dangerous time for us. So, again, we know it's coming. We're prepared. We know we have to go through this. This is our fight, right? Our parents went through World War II. They had to deal with the Great Depression and so many people getting drafted and not coming back. And that was really difficult. That was their generation's fight. I believe this is our generation. This is the fight we have. We've had it good. Listen, from the time I was born in the 60s until now, it's been relatively calm. Few little skirmishes here and there, but it's been calm. We've had a nice ride, and maybe we got too complacent. Maybe we let things go too far before we decide to step up and take a stand. Anyway, this is where we are right now. So I think, we're going to have to pay attention and go through this best we can. We had Lance on the show on Friday. For those of you who watched the Friday show, we talked a lot about blood sugar and managing it and the importance of managing your blood sugar. It's one of those things that leads to many other maladies, believe it or not. If you're not managing your blood sugar, doesn't mean you're diabetic. You could be just a normal, healthy, 30-something. What you don't want is you don't want blood sugar going spike and drop, spike and drop, spike and drop, spike and drop. That burns out your body's ability to deal with blood sugar. So one of the supplements that he recommended was berberine, and berberine is a really great supplement to help with that. It is also great for weight loss. So those of you who are thinking, well, maybe I could lose a few pounds. So berberine is the master metabolic switch supporting the activation of longevity pathways. Who wants to live a little longer? You, me, we all do, right? Berberine contains powerful plant compounds used to support the activation of longevity pathways, the channels of communication between cells in the body, such as AMPK. AMPK, it's an activator is what it is. Helps you burn fat. Supports healthy blood sugar levels. Promotes healthy metabolism. Supports a healthy and diverse gut microbiome, which is the root of all is the gut. Revitalizes your energy level and assists in healthy weight maintenance. If you want to find out more, screwbiggov.com. All the links will be there. /health. screwbiggov.com/health. I would encourage you, if you haven't seen Friday's show, go watch it. There was so much information that he shared, and it really gets you thinking in terms of how to have better health and be strong, because right now with the stressors that are on us, we got to really manage our health, and it's going to be more important now that we keep our energy and we stay centered as much as possible as we go through these challenging times. So that's one of the tools. Now, there are 18 other supplements you can look at there, including an amazing coffee. So I would have a look. screwbiggov.com/health. It will take you right there, and you can see all that Lance has to offer. All right. So there's an interesting story. ActBlue. ActBlue is a Democrat fundraising PAC, I believe it is, and they are accused of being a massive money laundering operation. So President Trump files an FEC complaint, Federal Election Commission complaint, over $91 million transfer to Kamala from Biden's campaign. I don't think you can do that the way they did it. Democrat platform ActBlue has been accused of engaging in a massive money laundering operation by which contributions from large donors are being funneled through hundreds of thousands of small donations made in the name of people who have no clue that they've actually donated. If you saw the James O'Keefe videos today, they would go to the door of people, they would look at the list of donors, they would go to the door, knock on the door and say, ma'am, looks like you've donated 30 times in the past 30 days or something and this much money. And they go, I didn't donate a penny, not at all. But because they were previous donors, they're just associating their name, address, and email, and they're putting donations in on their name. It's a money laundering operation. So $91 million apparently was funneled through that way. So they got it out of the Biden campaign and they got it into the Kamala campaign. That's how they did it. The accusation comes as the platform says it had its best day of 2024 and possibly of all time in the wake of President Biden abandoning his re-election campaign on Sunday. ActBlue has previously been fined for facilitating nearly $44,000 in illegal contributions. So they've done this before. They know what they're doing. The Trump campaign filed a complaint with the Federal Election Commission on Tuesday accusing President Biden and VP Kamala Harris of violating campaign finance laws. You can't do that with the transfer of $91 million in fundraising cash to her new campaign. According to the complaint, Harris is seeking to perpetrate $91.5 million heist of Joe Biden's leftover campaign cash. Yeah. So is it possible, in your mind, when you hear this, is it possible that she ends up not being the nominee? Let's see. If this doesn't go through, then she doesn't have the money. If she doesn't have the money, do we really want her? And by the way, there aren't millions of dollars coming in because it's her, right? That's not what's going on there. They're just pulling it from, this, they raised $100 million in one day. 91 of it is fraudulent, right? But people don't know. They're not going to look into it. They just look at the top line number. They're $100 million. Wow. I guess people like Kamala. I guess they really like her. Crazy. That's what's going on. All right. So upcoming events. We know that Joe Biden's going to speak a little bit later. And tomorrow, I'm going to put a little star next to this one. We have Kathy O'Brien joining us tomorrow, but there will be a star next to this one because if anything pops, anything is big, anything that happens, we'll probably come on live earlier. Maybe talk about that and maybe share with you what we know. Right? We're always open to doing that. We'll see. I think neither one of us, neither Louis or I, ever stop looking at our feeds and looking at the news and looking at what's happening. But, if all plays out, our plan is to have Kathy O'Brien tomorrow. She's going to be great. She always is. She's going to be talking about, the mind control that's been going on. And give us some sort of insider, made me laugh. A little chuckle, a little animal humor in the day. That's never a bad thing, is it? Oh, gee. Hey guys, I just want to remind you, give us a thumbs up if you like this video. We appreciate it. Also, make sure you are following the channels. Also, follow both. Follow Screw Big Gov on Rumble and also follow Renegade Media. We're starting to put different content on the channel so they're not an echo of each other anymore, that there'll be other shows on both channels. Louis is going to be doing some stuff. I'm going to be doing some stuff and, bring on different guests, and it may not be on both channels like this show. This show will continue for the time being to be on both, but we're going to add to it. We're going to add other things. So please make sure you're following both, and you'll get notifications when stuff comes up that is different and new and fun. Guys, I'll leave you with this today. Just be patient with it all. I know the frustration level is high. We want to see this over. We want to get back to life as we know it, back in the way it was, kind of calm and successful and things working well. If we think back to 2019, we can't go back. And I knew that 6 months into 2020, by the time all I said, guys, we can't go back. And, we used the term the new normal, and everyone got upset with that term after a while because it was so overplayed. But the truth is we've got to find a fresh new way to be. successful and to have what we want. And we've got to go through this. We've got to really get this, crap out of the way. And one of the things that we know is that a lot of our systems, our legal systems, our government systems, some of them cannot be reformed. They cannot be fixed at this point. They are too broken, too corrupted, and they will need to be replaced. So I don't know what that's going to look like, but I think we have a consensus on many levels that that's the direction we're headed. So, just put yourself centered, get on the ground, feel the power of your feet touching the ground and feel that energy coursing through you, and realize, there's a lot happening out there, but in this very moment, I could be okay. I could take a deep breath. I can get away from the media if I need to. I can get away from all the nonsense, because it does distract and it does make it hard to do what you want to do. We can do it. All of us can. And we need to do that. We need to take breaks from it to remain strong. Take care of your health, both your mental health, your emotional health, and also your physical health. Make sure you're doing what you can there, getting plenty of rest as possible. Gee, I would love a little bit more sleep. Maybe I'll get some good sleep tonight. I'm going to think positive. I'll get a good night's sleep tonight. Drink plenty of water and make sure you've got supplies at home in case, we have this blackout that they keep promising might come, or we have another pandemic. Looks like that may be on the table too. There's a lot of things out there. Hard to know which one's going to be the one, if any, because nothing may happen as well. But it is calmer to be prepared than not be prepared. I'm just going to leave you with that. I'm going to say, I really appreciate each and every one of you being here. This is so much fun to do this, and Lewis and I will be back tomorrow. Lewis is getting a little bit of air.